Good day all, welcome to Objective Reality. Welcome to Objective Reality. And we are continuing the discussion on methods of manipulation in our everyday lives. Methods of manipulation in our everyday lives. So this conversation is about making people believe that what is out there, meaning in the universe, in the world out there, right, is different from that which is inside of us, right? Making people believe that we are separate from the universe, right? Because the truth is that which is inside of us equals to that which is outside of us, right? So anytime somebody wants to make you think that, hey, you don't know something when you actually do, right? You don't know. Somebody trying to convince you, or people trying to convince you that you don't know something, and you know that you know it, right? Method of mind manipulation. When you have the certainty, you have the insight, you have received the knowledge, you have implemented the knowledge, you have observed the application of the knowledge, and you have observed the effect of the application of the knowledge, right? And then people want to come, others want to come and be like, oh, your perspective is bullshit, right? When people try to convince you that you don't know what you actually know, right? Method of manipulation, right? And one of the things that pisses me off to no end, right? When I say pisses me off, I cool inside and think. But one of the things that pisses me off to no end is when people be like, oh, well, when people tell teachers of natural law, oh, you feel you know everything, right? Yeah, you know everything in the universe, right? You know everything in the universe. Well, the answer to that is, I know myself. I have absolute clarity about myself, right? And he who wishes to probe the depths of nature, the one who wishes to probe the depths of nature, cannot do so unless he pays attention to the treasures that is already dwelling within the self, right? If you ignore the secrets and the treasures that is already within you, it doesn't make sense trying to probe the secrets of nature, because man is one with nature. So yes, I can safely say, because I discovered and I know and I searched for and I found the treasures existing within myself, I am confident enough to say, hey, there are certain things about the universe and how it works that I actually do know, right? And I don't need to know any big set of science, technology, maths, biology, chemistry, astrology, astronomy, right? I don't need knowledge and all these it would be nice, right? But at the end of the day, the goal of all life is human freedom, right? And it is a simple truth. The process to attaining this human freedom is a simple truth that does not require any big set of knowledge, right? Knowledge accumulation is good. There's no negative knowledge, right? Knowledge is knowledge, and the accumulation of knowledge is good, right? But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, the goal of this entire experience, human experience, is to attain liberation, right? And I can say that I do know the route to attaining human liberation, right? So for those of you who know the route and know that you know the route to attaining human liberation, to attaining spiritual liberation on earth, just be blind, deaf, and dumb to the entire world, or one person who tries to convince you that you are, one, not capable of making a change, right? Or that you don't know what you are talking about, or that your perspective is bullshit, right? especially people who lack clarity in themselves, one, and people who say one thing one day, next thing the next day, right, and don't even know what they're saying, right? I am confident to the fact that this path, this long and arduous path that I have taken in search of truth, it was in fact worth it for me, because there are certain things that I have discovered, uncovered, certain truths I have discovered and uncovered, right? So I wouldn't waste time arguing with anybody again. I will not waste time, effort and energy having any arguments with anybody again who seem to think that this so-called perspective, and it's not a perspective that I hold, right? I know it to be true. So I will not waste time with anybody anymore arguing, right? When you come across a solution to the problem, it doesn't, there's no problem and solution anymore, right? It simply becomes a truth that one needs to accept, right? I'll repeat that. When you come across a solution to a problem, right? The problem being slavery on earth, and you come across a solution to the problem, it no longer becomes an issue of problem solution. It simply becomes a matter of truth to be accepted. Use my life, for Christ's sake, I have used my own life as an experiment, right? I decided in 2021, right, that let me try this and see. Let me try this and see what is the worst that could happen, right? Well, many bad things happen, but it can be so bad, right? Because it leads the eventual outcome, I know, is going to be a heavenly one, right? The eventual outcome is going to be a blissful one, right? But to attain that bliss, how many people are willing to go through the trials without actively looking for a reward, right? I know that my reward is a spiritual one, right? So I'm not going to, and that's why I committed myself to this path. So people be like, oh, because I'm not looking for a reward materially or physically, that I don't value myself. It is because I value myself so much, dumbass. It is because I value myself so much that I choose, and I value love and freedom and truth so much that I choose to come here and teach the things that I am teaching, right? To do the things that 99% of you are unwilling to do. It is because I value my internal freedom, my external freedom, not only mine, but yours and that of the entire world, that I am choosing to come here and do the things that I am doing, right? So I am not like you, and that what makes me different from you, and why the foundation is just flawed in the first place. Because I am not doing something anticipating a reward, right? I am not coming here teaching like how teachers in the mainstream would do. You teach, and at the end of it, you expect, there's an expectation of a salary, right? Teachers in the mainstream every month, right? So you go through the month, and if students go on like a jackass like yourself, and if students just ignore the teachings, right? Some of the teachers would be like, oh, well, fleck that student, right? At the end of the day, I get my salary, right? That is how teachers typically think in the system, right? Fleck whatever happens during the month, because at the end of the day, I am getting my salary, right? I don't have that to look forward to every day I come in here and teaching this, right? I don't have that to look forward to, right? When people are shitty towards me, right? When people display shitty qualities towards me and try to throw me off and deter me from the path that I am on, right? I can't say, oh, fleck you again, my pay at the end of the day, right? I just have to deal with it, you know? I just have to deal with it. Yeah. So method of mind manipulation is people trying to throw you off the path that you are walking and you know to be true, right? Whatever you choose to do with your life is not my business, is not my problem, right? When the time is right for you to fully 100% surrender and accept that, hey, this knowledge is true, right? And willing to integrate it into your consciousness and teach it, right? Because honestly, that's the only way somebody can redeem themselves to me after some of the stuff that was said to me unwarranted, right? Is to come on a platform and teach the laws of the universe, right? Otherwise, I don't want no friend, no relationship, nothing, right? I am quite comfortable. I am content and happy, finally, on my own beat. Finally content and happy, rolling with my own beat, right? You know, there's a saying that goes, before you diagnose yourself with depression or self-esteem, right? Before diagnosing yourself with depression or self-esteem, make sure that you are not surrounded by assholes, right? I mean the true assholes of the world, not assholes like me and probably one or two of you all who are watching my videos, right? I mean the actual assholes, right? Before diagnosing yourself with depression or self-esteem problems, make sure you are not surrounding yourselves by assholes, meaning that surrounding yourself by people who are constantly watching you, judging you, saying, oh, watch she size this, right? Watch how she making this, watch how she doing this, oh, this had to be so, this had to be this way, oh, this is the only way to do this, that, right? You boiling rice the wrong way, right? You're making noodles the wrong way, right? Man, I could fleck off all I care, right? What are these, how are these things relevant to the application of spiritual law and the fulfillment of freedom on earth? How are these minor basic bullshit relevant, right, to the application of or the fulfillment of freedom on earth, right? Just be yourself. Do things your way insofar as you are aligned with the spiritual laws of the universe, right? You don't have to take on anybody otherwise, right? And know your self-worth. If it is that you realize, hey, this person do this to me not one time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and it is a disrespect to me, right? I have no problem just bam shot, hey, you gone from my life and I not looking back, right? I am not looking back, right? So, and not only disrespectful to you, but disrespectful to your path, you know. Like I always say, look at these berries. Look, as I always say, there are certain things the universe will allow you to get away with, and certain things it will not, right? And yes, I am probably your bad karma, right? As you said, meeting me was your bad karma. You can't expect to eat something like steak for 31 years of your life and expect to not face the consequences of it one day, right? I am probably your bad karma, as you stated, right? Because you can't expect to do wrong things for 31 years of your life and expect to not face the consequences of it, right? So another thing you said was coming to England to meet me was a waste of your time, right? It was a waste of your time, and you said it once before. Apologize for saying it. You repeatedly say it again. Come back and apologize again, right? I don't business about that, right? I don't care for an apology for something that is said, apologize, whatever, right? For those of you who was watching my past videos, something I said was start your spiritual journey where you are. I started teaching spiritual law when I was at home back in Trinidad, right? I did a lot of it when I was back home in Trinidad. And then life took me here. Life brought me here, right? This is why I would have sent you the link to do that, to conquer the fear that you have, which is speaking. I would have sent you the link to someone who was teaching a seminar on acquiring the skill set in conquering that fear technologically and speaking, right? But you chose to expend your resources instead on coming to England and telling me how, and degrading me to the lowest of the lowest, right? Instead of taking your resources to build your skill set, right? To build your skill set and become a teacher yourself, right? Which you yourself wanted to do since the whole COVID experience, right? Since the whole COVID experience, right? Because you are against the vaccine, you are against what the government was doing, right? I sent you the relevant information so that you can conquer that fear inside of you of speaking without caring about what mommy, daddy, family had to say about you, right? But if you choose to expend your resources on coming to meet me in England and leisure, pleasure, entertainment, then that is your free will decision, and whatever consequences to that, and consequences to spending your life breath in degrading me, right? And my part, then face the consequences of it, right? This life is about action and consequence, right? This life is about action and consequence, nothing else to it. Within the space of 3 years, 2020 to now, right? I would have fulfilled the relevant dream that I wanted to fulfill, which was to be a writer. I would have published 2 books, right, between 2020 to now, right? And I started another book a while ago. I just have to get back in the groove to continue writing, right? So by the end of this whole journey, I would have completed 3 books, right? The fulfillment of my dream to be a writer. I am currently in the process of conquering another fear of mine, right? Apart from that, I would have also conquered the fear of publicly speaking and publicly expressing my views on how I truly feel and how passionate I am about this whole issue of vegetarianism and also the government, based on my experience and based on how I see government treat other people as well in the world, right? So I would have fulfilled my dreams of being a writer. I would have, between 2020 and now, right? I would have fulfilled that dream. I would have conquered my fears of speaking publicly and expressing views that I hold dear to me, which also happens to be very close or the actual truth, right? And I am currently in the process of conquering my greatest fear of all time, right? I am currently in the process, right, of attempting to conquer one of my greatest fears of all time, right? So how is that for ambition and productivity to people who tell me that I have none, right? How is that for ambition and productivity to the people who tell me that I have none? Being ambitious and productive is not just about trying to make money and look for jobs, right? Being ambitious and productive is not simply trying to make money and look for jobs, right? It is looking in the deepest and the darkest aspects, the deepest layers of yourself, and asking yourself, what do I fear and how can I conquer it? Now shall I leave you on your own to conquer your greatest fear? So seeing that coming here to meet me in England was a waste of your time and resources, now you can feel free to go back home to Trinidad and be grateful and be appreciative to Daddy for allowing you to stay in his house for 31 years when people like me and children all over the world are kicked out of their homes at the age of 18 to find their way. And for me, who had to move out to embark on this whole spiritual journey so I could come back and teach people like you.